you think we're gonna
5
see
seconds.
any crazy new things? I mean,
Grabe
where
naman
is
yun.
the crit? Where's the crit Tusk?
Radiant's
Where's the
banned.
Witch Doctor?
Win together, slay together, slay together,
love
slay
Tusk.
together.
Used Tusk the other day. I think first pick. They need to
Dire's ban.
either to a Carl or to
Very least second round bet. Last game they got.
Radiant's ban.
That's just kind of a sign of disrespect. Yep, there it is.
Grabe
Elevated to a
naman
first
yun.
overall ban. G. I think when I talked about the items with the carries, and that means we're enabled later. I think Doom's probably the most. LGD win again.
10 seconds to
Exact same
go.
one. Heavy single target
5
disabled
seconds.
opening. Tide.
Dire's
The idea of
ban.
the Tide is that he just.
Oh, look at that snipe.
It's because you are a hero that they don't want to stun, and if you go on somebody else, you can counter initiate.
Ten seconds to
Big
go.
hitters.
5 seconds. Radiant's ban.
That hero?
was super popular at the start. He had like 77.
Doctors of the world started coming out. People were literally picking down. It does fall off quite hard if 5 to 6.
10 seconds to go. Dire's ban.
Love these bans from both Dooms, the Razors. Get them out of here. I'm sorry. I just think series that matters more than any other I've watched so far. Great Earth Spirit, 1 and 2.
10
so far.
seconds to go.
Record. Yeah, so it's not exactly like
5 seconds.
shows the hero's pretty underwhelming. If crit has a,
It might be good.
it looks
like
good.
when I.
You're talking about Tusk right now?
I'm talking about. Back to you, Slacks.
Thank you. I will take that back. Tusk is a walrus. Thank you.
That is about the best input.
Well, a lot of people don't. At any rate, taking a long time on the next bait. Too much about T1's draft so far. Standard. Last time they really valued the Protector.
Dire's pick.
An apparition.
Either that's maybe not show it's
10 seconds to go.
Fog that was
5 seconds.
Best fight for you.
Hey, these heroes are not conceptually simple.
Yeah. You might think of a few stats.
Radiant's pick.
But
Duska.
what's yeah?
What animal is that, guys?
Walrus.
That's right, see?
Grabe
Yeah,
naman
makes
yun.
Dyer's pick.
But we already discussed
Enchantress.
why this hero. Very
Wow, that's
popular.
still
Oh, spell mechanic.
I don't think they've ever left.
10 seconds
I
to
don't think they've ever
go.
left
5
combo.
seconds.
Fan of the already out of the pool. Could go Luna. Well, it's good in lane. Try lane. I just think this is a good spot to pick your.
Radiant's pick.
Wait, that hero's still in. Okay, well, it's against Lion though. Enchantress, both of which
I think they
Fire.
baited them in.
is like the worst Terrorblade pickup.
Just
10 seconds to go.
Ways to deal with the.
5 seconds.
Yell still in the.
Lose together, win
They wanna
together,
pick
slay
EL.
together.
Grabe
slay
naman
together,
yun.
slay together. Lose together,
One of the
win together,
Savage's
slay
best
together.
ranking.
slay
Radiant's
Grabe naman
banned.
yun.
Oh no! I think this is a complete bait. They have 3 Terrorblade counters.
This
Letting
is
them have it.
This is actually a offlane. Correct.
5 Terrorblade.
Wow, let's
Position
go.
1 Tusk. Rush that Midas Deso.
Let's
Yep.
go.
You have to go
Into
battle
Shadow
against
Blade.
The
Okay.
Shadow
10
Blade.
seconds to
When you're
go.
tusking against PL carry, you do have to item.
5 seconds.
They need an. Poplar inch.
I'm confused.
Dyer's ban.
You must see something. On paper, one that it has to be the bigger picture. The lanes.
10 seconds to go.
Drafts in these spots where they end up with like a
5
3K
seconds.
lead. Going into this game, I'm already saying. Otherwise,
Radiant's ban.
I don't see how. I don't think there's a single pick in this game. Mother is outright. Yeah.
That more from the. Certain
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds.
They're like a neck ranged offlaner that you have a
Grabe
tusk
naman
sword.
yun.
You could also do like a Darkseer. Darkseer.
Muốn giết một con rồng máu phải chạy thành sông. 458 có đài bắt ở đây không? 458 đài bắt rồi.
Yeah, dude. That would be a game changer.
Could be we did those illusions. Come
Dyer's ban.
creative stuff. The last time we saw one of them OD.
Oh yes.
It was? Okay, this is a good band. Blacks. They would have limited. Like that would be actually.
10 seconds to go.
Firestone percent. Dragon Knight.
5 seconds.
K Lion. Bit of a like
Radiant's pick.
Grabe naman yun.
Muốn giết một con rồng á, muốn giết một con rồng á, mày chạy thành sông.
Ten seconds to go. 5 seconds.
Tusk feed. It's actually feed. Pops the egg, but if you
Dire's pick.
Elder Titan.
Oh, off lane ET.
Hey.
That's his. Just armor TB. ET doesn't usually make Terrorblade have 0 armor because it's a high position.
10 seconds to go.
Get in
Grabe naman yun.
BKB is incredibly valuable. The only
5 seconds.
Is the Tusk tag team damage. Probably gets that Ags, maybe like Darkseer is the hero I can think of. Have a
Thank you, Sir Action. Grand finals, that's true. They've been the
Places,
dominant
everyone.
team of this tournament thus far. But this is going to, I mean, if it's anything like game 2 and we get more tier 5 items, which
just what I've been
probably
waiting
not going to happen
for.
sooner, but looking at these lineups,
เป็นเกม
I
ที่
want
ดี
to just
เป็น
say,
เกม
and tell
ที่
me
ดี
where I'm wrong here, Phantom Lancer as a hero of this tournament, kind of underwhelming. This is after like a lot of the nerfs to the shards specifically from, I want to say like a month ago.
Yeah, I think the best showing from the hero was when it was picked by, I want to say, was it PSG LGD against Nigma in Alpha Bracket? I think they picked PL into Terrorblade in a similar fashion, like a late pick in the draft that was relatively uncountered, and it did very well in that game, played by Ame. But yeah, this game is going to be very different from the last because I think the lineups are very different in nature. EG with
30 seconds to
very
go.
powerful team fight. You've got Puck, Sand King, Phoenix. Whereas T1, their team fight largely coming from the Elder Titan, who's kind of like a combo breaker. And then they have the easy initiation of both Dragon Knight and Align with Dagger. And they're playing core ET, which is common. I think SCA is one of the regions that might run this the most, but it's not something I'm very familiar with seeing. Obviously, the primary reason what prompted this pick for T1 is probably
And they're off.
2 things. First of all, they want a way of combo breaking this massive team fight and getting out if they need to. And secondly, core ET gets farmed, and therefore he can run at Terrorblade. And then you get that armor removal that will make PL and Dragon Knight just way stronger against Terrorblade than they usually are. So a lot is going to come down to the early laning. It's going to come down to getting items. EG I think has a really strong timing when their team fight comes online. And T1 has a really strong timing when they get specific items. Aghanim's are Titan, and I think the daggers for them are really important. So we'll see. EG are starting with an aggro tri lane once again. They're gonna leave Ice solo top lane on an island on Sand King. And we have Carl versus Abed in mid. Very classic Dragon Knight favorite matchup against the Puck in the game. I think in lane both heroes farm. But that stun is obviously going to be very annoying for Abed to do.
I just have to mention, both Terrorblade and Puck, Arteezy and Abed's basically they're heroes of the tournament, if not multiple tournaments at this point.
Yeah.
Both given to them, essentially.
But it came at a trade, right? They chose to pick Puck, and they end up facing Dragon Knight and Lion. So two of the best counters. Whiteman and Crit going at it. Crit come out slightly ahead, but have to run away, of course, by being melee. Forcing the salve.
Yeah, but they do start out in that tri lane, like you said.
They are
it looks
really
like
shutting down Savage here.
Yeah. I mean, last time they did this, they kept it up for a few waves, and then Crit started to kind of rotate out a bit. You expect kind of the same thing here?
I'm not sure, actually. The problem for Tusk is that ganking mid, I do think he can gank mid on level 2 if he skills shards. Dragon Knight is one of the better heroes at surviving on Tusk gank by having high armor against the tag team. But if he's this low, obviously there's a potential kill. As far as the top lane goes, I'm a bit worried for Ice that if he doesn't get any help, playing Sand King 1v2 and getting shut down is so hard because you counter this item with a Sentry Ward, and mind you, this item is cheaper and you have more of them than you used to. So you can just keep shutting this guy down. You can keep investing in sentries if you want in this top lane. Or, I mean, as it looks right now, they're just going to leave him alone. Cuckoo is going to solo that lane, and Zephyr is looking for potential other plays on the map.
And Crit shutting down.
Into the game.
Crit ends up taking the Water Rune bot, which leaves the top one for Abed if he chooses to do so. Obviously, just wants to pressure Carl for the time being. Can always illusory orb
going
there.
for it here. He's going to force
Just
it.
what I've been waiting for.
Get it as a
What
result.
is this?
But that's going to cost Abed
A
CS,
game
actually.
of
That's
some
pretty
sort?
smart from Carl. He chose to go there at the time that 3 creeps were low. And he is giving Abed the choice, do you want to get the CS or do you want to get the rune? And Abed does get the rune, but at the cost of, I think, 100 gold there.
Just what I've been
with a great start here,
Radiant's
13 for 3
bottom
against 7
tower
and
ain't
4.
a pretty sight right now.
Cuckoo sitting on 14-7 against the 5-0 Sand King. Very expected with the head start he got. And ET is just so good in melee 1v1 with this build. He just smacks it. As long as there's a sentry, IceFrog has to stun and run. Like, it's not fair.
Oh my.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody else to help him out here, so IceFrog is kind of living on the edge right now.
And PL still has farm bot. Like, I feel like T1 actually got off to a really good start here. And now that they're rotating Ench down here, they're going to have the stronger tri-lane as well. Enchantress is one of the best tri-lane heroes as long as she's X's.
There you go.
Blocking him in. Nice
Come on,
Crit
Sprite.
Arteezy pounding away now. That's going to be first blood for Arteezy. Can't choose a better hero if you're an EG fan.
No money
to get sharded off there. And obviously the 3v3 favoring T1 very dependent on an Ench creep. The moment it expires, EG just
Thanks
go.
a lot.
They pounce on him immediately. Get off to a good start on Arteezy, like you said. Still,
for Sand King in general, you kind of brought this up with the jungle. If they're going to actually go aggro in there at some point, is looks like Zephyr.
Wait up.
Pressure to Abed right now. Illusory orb for that top water room. Waiting Rift will put that to an end.
Great play from Abed there. That was perfect.
But how much
Perfect
comeback
timing there.
potential does a Sand King have
Puck out.
if you get off to kind of a rough start here?
You can always farm stacks in the jungle with Sandstorm, and you can like start cutting waves, but he's not like, it's not great because the
Another attempt here, this time onto Whitemon. Like you said, the Ice Shards don't completely block him in, but makes him choose a different path than he would otherwise take. So another kill for EG in this try-v-try.
very, very important for EG to just pounce on every opportunity they're given, because when these 3 heroes are together and they do have a creep on Ench, I do think these moves don't exist. But this time Zephyr wasn't there yet, and they get in on Whitemon and get that kill. So nicely done. Yeah, as far as Sand King recovery goes, usually if you're having a great start on Sand King, you would like to go Veil and then Dagger, or maybe you go some sort of like tanky build with Bracer or something like that. In this game, you're probably so far behind that you have to go for the Dagger, or it's going to come too late. And that just means that in this build-up period where you're farming up those 2k gold, you're very exploitable for this ET as long as he has a sentry. He's going to go Soul Ring so he can keep the mana flowing. Then I imagine we will see that Dagger queued up, maybe Boots on the way. Yeah, 15-0 against 13 and 14.
Just what I've
Not
been
exactly
waiting for.
a good time.
Yeah, of course, he's been playing these heroes that want to initiate and get their... I mean, he's been playing Dragon Knight a lot, so that's a very tanky hero. Sanking, not exactly that tanky, maybe more elusive tanky, I guess. As bot lane, another Ice Shard blocking a bit here for 23 Savage, but just going to doppelganger away.
They're trying to pressure the tower with Siege, forcing out spells. Got to be a little bit careful with not overextending here as EG, because any TP rotation from Elder Titan or Dragon Knight could be powerful, but they've taken advantage of the fact that, look at the resources, right? 100 mana on ET, I think Dragon Knight sitting on 100 as well, so neither hero really able to connect. So they can squeeze out that advantage from the resources that are missing. And more than anything, Dragon Knight actually...
First point of the game, Crit is here as well with that tag team. Abed, nobody's going to give you high five, at least not on team. Okay, he just walks right out, but the Ice Shards blocks him in, and eventually they'll take it. Nobody's going to give him high five. That feels good.
God, this is Radiant's top tower is
Nice, he had the CS as Cuckoo, but gets the solo kill.
That is a huge kill for Ice.
Wow.
Radiant's
That must have been like a caustic finale of creeps or something like that, right?
Think about it. He got this kill, and he's still behind on
Just
gold
what
after
I've
getting a
been
1v1 kill.
Yeah, but that pretty much brings it back
for it. Yeah, he's drawing the lane now. That is the biggest kill of the game for sure. Very nice. So we're seeing it here.
And Burrow Strike, and just the creeps doing a lot of the damage here.
Puka just overestimating his tankiness. He had like 250 health or something, 300. He's going to get a refill and reconnect to lane, but this does put Ice at a very big level of damage in that top lane. Carl dodged. Nice from
Just what I've been waiting for.
He'll be able to maneuver himself around. We see that Cuckoo is actually going for a Hand of Midas. Thoughts on this?
He's playing for late game.
Dire's
He wants to get
mid-tower
Midas
won't
Axe,
last
I think.
much longer.
I mean,
And run
for
it
those that
terribly.
haven't seen an Elder Titan core, especially once he gets a ton of farm, this is a scary freaking hero. And we saw the Ags last game. That was
Dire's
on a
top
support.
tower's
He's
getting
an
beat
excellent
down.
anti-carry late game against heroes that have high base armor, and Terrorblade is #1. So, crit TPs. They get the quad.
Just for the mobility. Coil, like you said, tag team to follow. Do they have enough damage to actually kill him off? Carl
Missed complete. Oh, actually, never mind. They hit
looks
fly.
like Carl locked a bit here.
Dire's
Crit
top
is actually going to
tower.
dodge
How
down.
about that?
Nope, that snowball looks like it'll be enough. Just barely to kill Carl. And the EG do get the kill. Takes a lot longer than they were
Dire might
anticipating.
wanna buy that top tower.
Horse Stomp is there. He's going to get healed from Fly. We need to the low
Radiant's
ground.
bottom tower seen
Cuckoo
better
trying to
days.
chase, but
There goes Radiant's bottom tower.
EG doing a very, very good job at executing these skirmishes. 5-0.
Oh boy.
They're just
Dire's
outplaying
top
these moves like
tower's
Dragon
getting
Knight
beat
there.
down.
He's so close to living because of a good breathe fire.
Are you guys gonna play the
But
game?
still, Crit chases him down. Gets it.
Ice has, he's got a Ring of Health queued. I'm not sure if he bought it. Is he going Vanguard? Did he get a bit booster coming or something? Or maybe going for Pipe this game?
I mean, he could. Can you play this game without Dagger because you're with Puck? Like maybe go Crimson against the PL, and you just try to enable your team fight in this strong mid-game timing that you hit, and try to avoid it getting to late game at all.
I mean, what are your thoughts on...
Could do that, actually. It wouldn't be too bad.
What is Sand King like against PL in the mid to late game? Because back in the day when this worked this way, the Aghanim Scepter against Illusion was crazy.
Insanely
but it doesn't work
good,
that way anymore.
Right. When it applied Caustic Finale to Illusions, he was literally one-shotting PL.
Yeah, it was great. That was a golden age of Dota when PL wasn't here.
Yeah, gotta love that. He's queuing him.
Giết con rồng
Tempter from Crit, but Whitemon positioned himself nicely.
How does Sinking fare against PL? I think he does well for the time being. Like, let's
Radiant's
say 20
mid-tower
minutes,
could
you're
use a hand.
25 minutes, you have Crimson Guard, +1 item, you're fine. But PL will eventually overwhelm you, and you're going to struggle against Mana Burn. Sanking without mana is garbage. And his spells are relatively costly, so he's playing against both Mana Drain from Lion and the Diffusal Blade from the Phantom Lancer that he's building his first item. Is going to be a problem for Ice. Seeing this Ring of Health really just makes me think he's going Crimson. Like, I don't think there's any other like high-value item he would go with this year. Unless I'm missing
Radiant's
something.
top tower's in bad shape.
Feel working on that Diffusal.
Just jungling now. Yep.
So everybody's building up like
Radiant's top tower is
EG are up
taking
5-0,
hits.
so it's looking like a great game for them on the scoreboard, but 3 of the top 4 cores are still T1. They have especially won the mid lane very hard with the
Radiant's
against Puck
mid-tower's
matchup.
getting banged up.
Carl is beating out Abed by 700. even though he died.
I knew he was invis, taking the risk anyway, and looks like he's going to fall before being able to use that egg or a dive or
Giết một
anything.
con
Close to
rồng
that
máu
matter.
chạy thành sâu.
He did get the sentry though, Cinder.
Radiance toughened
He's in
up
a
their
sentry ward.
structures.
He sure is. He's actually right next to it now, getting chased by these illusions continually.
Fine.
As Carl pressures the tier 1 tower, Abed's still looking for that elusive high five that shall never come, apparently. It's very sad. Maybe he'll get it after the game in person.
This is actually kind of problematic for EG. They're almost losing the tower, so they pre-salve Carl, so he's tanking the tower for very long. They bring in an inch creep with the bonus armor to tank the next shots.
Oh, wow.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's dead.
They lost their tower in minute 10.
They will get the deny at the very least, but yeah, that's... I mean, it is a Dragon Knight. You gotta expect that at some point, but it's a little earlier than we're used to seeing for sure.
And it is a really good tower to get against the Terrorblade lineup. He wants to access his triangle. He wants to put
Nice. Yep, there's TPs coming from T1 right now. He gets the Burrow Strike off to the other side, but you have to think that he will likely die if there's a sentry here. Nice. He's actually prepping the epicenter. Gets it off. There's a little bit residual damage to Whitemon, but the Dragon Tail's there, and Cuckoo.
Can he find a way out of this?
Burrow Strike into the
Radiant's mid tower's
TP.
coming apart.
It's gonna be successful. Unreal.
Stop jungling.
Some Vanguard value.
Wow. Yeah, that
He got a lot out of that one.
That was very nice.
Radiant's
And this
mid
opens it
tower
up for the
can
tier
use a
1 to
hand.
at least take heavy damage, if not just take the whole thing.
This is really good from EG to get this tower pressure in the meantime. They're not rotating
Radiant's
to try
mid
to help
tower's coming
IceFrog. They're just
apart.
taking advantage of all the space he made. Are they actually getting
Yeah.
Radiant's
a
mid
full
tower's getting
tower?
1-4.
Minute 12. We were just praising Dragon Knight for getting it. That is
What, you've never
so
seen
huge.
the Puck Phoenix Tusk push before,
It's
Cinder?
classic. You'd use tag team and you just smack that tower. Really good.
Man.
It doesn't work. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
that would be great, actually. That would be a good buff to Tusk.
Yeah, I
It's been
definitely think tag team is the part of the hero that needs a buff. That's the way to go.
Yeah, true. Oh, there we see the coil onto 23 Savage. Snowball to follow into the Walrus Punch. High value kill
Radiant's
for EG.
courier didn't make it.
Bit of a bonus.
Adding insult to injury there as EG take a 2K network lead.
EG are very good at this when they're playing against these illusion-based carries. They're very good at catching them in the
Radiant's
triangle
top
with an
tower's
offensive
hurt.
ward. And if they even get this top tier 1 tower, there's just even more
Radiant's
access
structures must have
to
been
shutting down this
fortified.
PL.
Do you think that comes from playing
Radiant's
those
top
heroes
tower
themselves?
is
I
taking
think it
hits.
feels like
Part
the
of it.
triangle, especially on the Radiant side, is such an important thing for EG, at least
Healing
the
power.
past 6 months.
It's not just playing it themselves,
Radiant's
it's something they
top
specifically
tower's
do
in
really
bad
well with
shape.
Puck. I think. They're really taking advantage of Puck's ability to connect
Radiant
over
lost the
cliffs.
top
Alright,
tower.
Is
It's
more.
space.
Not as much space as Ice because he wasted time and
Regeneration.
But good effort. Good effort overall.
Money changes hands.
Diffusal will be coming out very soon.
All right, I want to talk to you about this. So 23 Savage, the
Radiant's
PL.
top
We
tower's
talked
in
about the
bad
shard,
shape.
how it was nerfed pretty heavily. We still see it sometimes, and sometimes they just entirely ignore it. What are your thoughts on this right now? As in, do you get it at 20 minutes? Is it? It's not a requirement, obviously, since we
No.
see a lot of people bypassing it.
I think in this game you probably don't. I think you're
Stop
very
jungling,
stat
let's
dependent
push.
here. You need a lot of defensive items to survive all this AoE damage that EG are bringing. You need to hit this point of critical mass where they don't kill you anymore. So like, let's say you have Hood Anto, Hood Heart. So you can survive the first volley of spells and be a threat in fights. The problem I see is if you go for that Lance build-up with the Shard, that's all you are. You can't really do much more with that.
It's
So
just
they're-
not
they
fair.
are
We'll call
really
that
ruining Zephyr's game.
that's a double kill.
I told you not call it space. It's like debatable.
Well, it wasn't much
Radiant's
space because they're
bottom
in their
tower ain't a
jungle.
pretty sight right now.
Ice is threatening here. Not finishing the Crimson. He's going Travels.
on Ice.
Yep, Sand is close to
Really?
Travels.
Okay.
So gonna keep playing the map. And honestly, I really like this approach from EG right now. They know they have the stronger team fight. They know they've taken the towers that they needed to take. So let RTZ farm whatever he wants and just try to pose a threat. What's going to end up happening likely is that this PL diffusal is not going to
Dire's
come to
top
much
tower,
use because they can't
you know
really
the drill.
fight. And that means RTZ outfarms him. If PL flat out only wants to farm, the usual farming build we see is at least a Yasha for the efficiency. But since he did go diffusal, he doesn't have the luxury of farming as fast as a Terrorblade, and the gap is going to keep widening as he also needs to buy Hood against all the magic damage. So if EG can keep a firm grip on the map, this
Where are you
gold lead
going?
should increase over time. Currently sitting on 3K minute 15.
How much of that comes from seeing Cuckoo was building a Hannah Midas, and then, you know, obviously their mindset is to go late. So Boots of Travel gives you, you know, I mean, it feels like a
Right.
late game item almost, because you don't want to buy it if the game's going to end in 20.
Nature
25 minutes.
attend us.
I think maybe part of it is that, but I think it's more a natural result of the lineups more than the itemization. Like if Cuckoo had a drum or whatever, like some sort of cost-efficient item right now, I don't think it would have changed very much for EG's approach to the game. It would have been very similar. Nice deep ward here placed by Whitemon. Don't know if they're really looking to do anything though. I think what T1 are mainly warding here for is actually they're not placing aggressive wards to kill. They're placing aggressive wards to see EG smoke and make moves so that they can dodge them. Placing defensive wards leaves you more vulnerable to getting attacked than having the wards on the other side of the river where you see the move before it begins instead of seeing it when it comes to the
reflection into this is a triple kill.
Space.
Yeah, that's, I mean, this is almost chain feeding at this point.
It's still really impressive to me how well 23 Savage is keeping up. This reminds me of last game where Artesian Terrorblade has seemingly the whole map at his disposal. And at the same time, 23 Savage is only a few hundred gold behind. After he has been killed in his triangle, he's still keeping up. He's got the hood now. And looks to be queuing up Manta. So in this slot, PL usually goes one of 3 items. He either goes Manta, Sanjin Yasha, or Barnes.
Dire's bottom tower's
He
getting
is
the
opting for the
business.
Manta here. There's obviously some big outplays. You can dodge Sunder, the initial cast. You can break Puck's silence.
Guess what's
And
happening to
with
Dire's
some really
bottom
clutchness, I
tower?
think you can break out of coil still.
The Dire took down
Will go to EG.
Yeah, this is a really early one. 16-minute Roche. Fly.
Pose here.
Onto 2. Looks like the snowball comes in as well, and the egg on the sideline into the epicenter. 23 Savage is in a lot of trouble. The right click from Artesian will be enough. Yes, just barely. But they get the position 1 for T1. You were praising his farm. This is now the second death.
T1 has no business looking to fight into EG right now. I just think lineup-wise, it's not feasible to try to go. You need to keep pushing waves. If you do want to fight, it has to be Enchantress or Dragon Raid getting caught so that you can get your ET spells off so that your Peel can go. Peel walking in and casting a Spirit Lance there and then getting stunned by Sand King is almost the end of the fight already. Because he has one of 2 things will happen. Either he's going to die or he's going to run away. And what's your damage? If PL isn't fighting here, what damage does your lineup really have currently? It's not great.
Oh, Zephyr.
Radiant's top tower.
No, please no more. Not again.
You can do one more.
Not like this.
Healing power.
Crit. Oh,
okay.
All right, iShark missed there. He still has Snowball at his disposal, though. Oh, Hobbit's there. Hello. And yeah, this will be another death for Mr. Zephyr, having a bit of a rough one on Enchantress early on. 6 deaths, yeah. I mean, they only have 1 kill overall. This is starting to get a little stompy here, Cinderin. Like, from T1's perspective, what do you think that they need to do to kind of crawl back in this before it gets to be insurmountable territory? Yeah, well, they did that game too, right? Or they took it themselves.
Right. It kind of sounds like a broken record. I think you have to dodge fights. Like, get vision out, try to play away, because it's something 23 Savage does really, really well. But they lost focus a little bit and got caught a couple of times. Ooh. Playing like that is really difficult, by the way. So,
oh, coil coming. It's only on to Carl here. He's gonna break it right off the bat. Snowball's coming, but look at the Sunray damage from afar. Nice Echo Stomp though on the 3 heroes, but the Burrow strike into the epicenter on Cuckoo himself. And it looks like they're gonna lose Fly to start things out here.
Radiant's
trade though for
coming
Carl.
apart.
That is the much more important kill as EG just continues to get these trades. Well, I guess they've only gotten 2 trades technically the whole game, but they get the better of these situations.
Yep. That's the kind of fight that you have a chance in where you are on defense and the right hero gets jumped, right? It's the Dragon Knight. That's what we were talking about earlier. You need to get DK or Enchantress caught so that your other heroes have time to land their spells. You get an Earth Spike there, you get the Stomp like you said, but still not enough in the tank to get more than the Phoenix kill. It's something though, but playing keep away in Dota right now is really difficult. I do think you probably have to do it a little bit longer. Maybe the next item on PL or ET or both opens up a little bit, but the game just doesn't favor your lineup right now to take straight on 5-on-5 engagements.
Yeah, 23 Savage. Actually, it looks like he's just going for the almost like the magic build after the Manta. I mean, the Manta mostly to dispel, like you said, the Waning Rift is kind of the big one, but into the Shard and then Aether Lens, Cinderman, which could turn into Octarine. We've seen that before. It just becomes this very spammy Spirit Lance game where you're kind of playing from afar. You don't really want to fully commit. Yeah, Coil will be broken right off the bat. Zephyr on the other side with the heal. iShark's going to connect, so nice block overall, but there's
There
the
you
ET
go.
ult from a side.
Radiant's
EG
bottom
taking heavy
tower
damage
ain't
as a
pretty
result.
sad right now.
Here comes Fly from the other side now. Cuckoo gets off the Earth, though. Beautiful echo stomp onto several heroes. But it's not really going to matter for him. The Burrow Strike is far too powerful with the numbers from EG. There's
EG
another
just keep
kill going their way.
They're doing all the right things. Like, their heroes are playing tight together. They're making moves on their conditions.
He's
Okay.
going Radiance.
Yep, that is my favorite Blink Dagger.
This is a pub build right here. Ice is playing a pub right now. All right, Burrow Strike into the Waning Rift. You can see the fire from afar into the Sun Rays. This is actually getting enough damage against the Dragon Tail off. Nice Sun onto Fly, so no more percentage-based damage for you.
You do need to get out of here. They're running out of resources, and I do think they will pull on disengage.
Is this a troll? Like,
I
honestly.
think he's going to buy it against PL.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's really good against PL.
So he obviously, he has the luxury of not buying Dagger. We talked about that 10 minutes ago, that maybe he isn't even going to buy one. Like, he's just going to tank up, and they are going to initiate with Puck Tusk. And he can either buy the Crimson Guard to be this like aura frontliner, or as is the case here, he's eyeing a Radiance, which I think could definitely work in this game.
That's very cool. Because, yeah, when you see PL, and let's say, in theory, you don't have the heroes to deal with them, which they kind of, to a degree, do, especially with Coil, it's Mjolnir and Radiance. Those are, like, the two main itemizations, right? So, and, I mean, that's pretty cool. This feels like a pub build at the same time, because if you're in a pub and you have a Sand King buying Radiance, that usually is going to be a report, at least in my experience.
So there's probably about like 20,000 aspiring players watching this game right now. They're like, oh, Radiant Sand King, very good.
This is how
every game.
This is how trends are started.
Usually when pro players buy something and you're like, that's weird, a lot of the time,
Radiant's
think
bottom
about
tower's
what
seen better
they're thinking
days.
instead of just blindly buying the same item. He is not buying this item every game.
But it's more fun to
very
blindly buy the
specific.
items.
Trouble
It
brewing at
is. It
Radiant's
is more
bottom
fun to play
tower.
with Radiance and Dagger. I do agree. It is very fun to have carry items on an offlaner.
Radiant's bottom
He
tower
was in
ain't
the
pretty
safe lane,
sad right
technically,
now.
to be clear.
No breaking
That's true.
through the
Maybe he's the
dire
carry.
structures for now.
Arteezy offlane Terrorblade.
Yep, easy. He's just going to play the
Dire's
armlet
top
Thunder
tower's
Roll,
getting
right, with the
beat
Dagon.
down.
Yes. My
Radiant's
favorite build
bottom
from
tower's
15
seen better
minutes.
days.
This is going to be the tier 1 tower top.
Dire's got one
22
less
minutes
top
of
tower.
Enchantress
Very late.
to get the tower for T1. EG almost getting bought tier 2. Some defense coming in here from Carl and Weidman. They're going to back off. So,
Yeah.
all right, 6K lead, EG. I think something interesting, we're talking a lot about this Radiance, but like Kyle, or sorry, it wasn't Kyle, it was BSJ on the panel pointed out.
I get them mixed up all the time.
Yeah, they're very similar somehow. Like BSJ was pointing out, this is a game that's a lot about the carry versus carry matchup, especially in the series, and you're making the game easier with Terrorblade by buying Radiance. You're easing the carry matchup.
The Coil's going to connect on 2, but it looks like EG might be... Oh, Fly wants to potentially go in.
That was a
looking
little
for
bit
the kill
wild.
there.
He could have got Earth Spiked and died there for sure. Or Dragon Tailed maybe, but DK was not in range.
These illusions are starting to get really annoying. This is 22.5 minutes in. Does he have Shard? Yeah, I was going to say.
He
Feels like he has Shard.
Manta. He's going SNY. Okay.
Okay, so he switched it up here. Okay, I mean, you get the status resistance, but you can't instantly dispel the Waning Rift, which, I mean, it feels like when you're a Puck, you're going to be coiling him immediately anyway, usually. Right?
Coiling PL is usually very good when you have this amount of overwhelming team fight. Because he will be stuck, you know where he is, all of your stuff is going to land, and hopefully it's enough. I still question whether he should be going a heart, but maybe the damage output of him is too low. Going for heart over SNY plus lens, but...
The Dusk is always ready for a fight.
Tier 1, they knew what they got themselves into with this draft. I don't think they can be surprised that they're losing team fights. They just need to weather the storm. Closing in on maybe a BKB for Cuckoo would be big. BKB on Dragon Knight, and PL's next item is a big timing. And for EG, the goal is, until those items come up, keep extending your lead, look for kills, try to maybe get a tower in the second Roche. Second Roche is very big. Obviously, we didn't talk too much about BKB as an item in this game. It kind of counters almost everything EG has.
They're going to find Cuckoo. Zephyr on the other side here, but if he's not careful, he's going to get his millionth death of the game. Although TP support's coming in, Carl pops his BKB with the Dragon Claw. Nice egg. Will he be able to kill it in time? The Burrow Strike does connect. They kill the egg, though. Weidman gets his finger in death on. He's going to rip the shade and start things off. Getting chased out. Easy top that meta. It's just pounding into everybody. 23 Savage is done for this fight. As Carl's just getting chased back into the base, and Ice finishes off Weidman finally. just living on the edge with that Lion for such a long period. Ends up being a 3 for 2, but again, EG just loses their supports.
Stop jungling, let's push.
You are seeing some signs of promise here from T1 though. That was the first team fight that they got kills in. That seemed like, okay, they can stand their ground. And the really key thing here is Dragon Knight has a BKB.
Yeah.
And they connect on the Phoenix, who even gets egg off. Like, imagine there's no supernova there. That could have maybe, just a little bit of less time they needed to commit on Phoenix, could have perhaps swung that in their favor. So definitely within reach for them in these fights. And, you know, we had this situation in the last game. EG have like this insane burst damage. They're killing heroes really fast. And ultimately, the heroes of T1 got too tanky. Could this become a repeat of that? If they have solutions for Terrorblade, Tusk damage falls off, Sanking damage falls off.
Puck not so much, though. Puck
It
feels like it scales a lot better than it used to, at least.
It does. It definitely does scale better than it used to, but it's still probably not scaling at the rate of Dragon Knight ETPL, right? So you have to keep up the tempo as EG and make sure you don't run into this issue again where when you run out of damage.
EG's perspective, that was a fight where 4K of net worth was basically dead. That was a sacred relic just sitting in the base for Sand King.
That's true.
And once he gets his ratings, which is about 100 away, I feel like these fights will just be amplified in their favor, at least for the short term. And with the next Roche coming in
Do
a
they
minute.
have a Veil on Phoenix?
On Mr. Fly himself?
They don't. So they have so insane much, like, this is one of those things where I'm like thinking to myself, do you buy a Veil to make everyone's damage so much bigger and hit this timing? Or is it gonna backfire because you put too many eggs into the magic damage basket? You know what I mean? Like, because Veil right now looks insane with Phoenix, Sand King, Puck, but obviously they're looking at the bigger picture, and later on the BKB is going to counter the Veil, and instead they have this Sunray with the Holy Locket.
He's actually going to live. He actually lives there.
Close call.
We haven't seen this yet. Yeah, this is something new for 2-1. Up, Coil. It's going to be snapped right up there. He's been doing this pretty much the whole game. It really cost him his life. I mean, he was dead. But yes, Carl's going to fly. White Monster trying to TP out. Nope, that Arteezy right click just ends up being enough, and this will be a tier 2 tower, if not more. Roshan up in 15 seconds as well.
Not popping BKB there for Dragon Knight is pretty damn cool.
Radiant's
like,
mid
thinking
tower
you're going to get out of that, the amount of damage there.
No breaking down the
BKB
radiant
that's
structures
you
like
afloat.
this.
And
The
you thought
Dire
you
might
were going
want
to
to
snap that
mine
coil
the top
and
tower.
live. EG saying no,
Dire
sir.
went
They're going
and
to push high
fortified
ground. There
that
are
structure.
buybacks here, and they obviously do
Radiant's
ET,
bottom
so
tower
Kuku
ain't
slowing
pretty
this
sad
down
right now.
a lot with this stop. Hitting everyone, buying a lot of time. Was thinking about the ulti, but
The heal from Fly.
actually got
quite a bit.
minor bit of damage on that tower with that.
The Radiance.
We're going to get more.
Radiance is online now.
Radiant's mid tower
What do you think
could
of
use
this
a
build
hand.
on Kuku's Elder Titan? So it's off lane. I was expecting maybe a little bit more right click, but is it because he's behind? He has to go for the Glimmer Cape. You see the Dragon Tail. Okay. Let's this fight out. Get the Spirit Lance out, but there is the Arteezy Sunder into the BKB. That looks like they want to run, absolutely. And the chase is on from T1. Abed should be able to get out. Arteezy might be some trouble. Fly getting the heal off for now. Carl pops the BKB. Does the Atlas on the corner. Carl tries to follow, though. Arteezy, he's getting chased down. No Sunder for him. That is a dead Abed and Arteezy. But the epicenter is enormous from IceFrog. And will the egg actually pop? It looks like it will. Don't think they can kill it just in time, but they don't have the right clicks anymore because their carries are dead. But IceFrog, he's the true carry sender. He has the Radiance, and 23 Savage is dead again. Carl now on the run, or on the fly, as it were, since he is a freaking dragon after all. Crit. Somebody in the snowball. Looks like it's IceFrog, but the buyback now onto the off lane Kuku. That might be enough to just break up this fight. They can't go for Roche without either Abed or Arteezy, but somehow EG come out ahead on that because I want to say the egg and the epicenter.
I'd love a damage recap from that fight. Or I think IceFrog single-handedly basically killed 3 heroes here. Like,
good lord.
Epicenter on 2 with Radiance with full duration Sandstorm. He gets the stun follow up there to save the egg with 1 hit left.
Look at how casual his hand is on his keyboard. Doesn't even look like he's trying. Is that even the right replay?
Imagine if
he's browsing Reddit.
Maybe they would win every tournament.
Oh, all right. Burrow strike on the Kuku. Echo Stomp does connect onto 2. He's still blocked out for the time being. Gets off his beautiful ult, but Kuku's just going to get chased down now. He's inside the foil right now with 3 heroes. Crit looks like it's going to be the first to fall for EG. No! And that will be a nice turnaround for T1. Now the blink into the Dragon Tail. Fly might be next on the list. Indeed he is. They do have double buyback if they really want to expend it, but Doesn't look like much of a need here for EG.
I honestly think one of the things about T1 that's the most impressive at this tournament is how good they are playing when they're behind. Like, we've seen other teams kind of just lose control and never really come back. T1 are finding ways to set up fights that they have a good chance in, and this one was one of those where Cuckoo gets caught, but is just tanky enough with that Glimmer Cape to stay alive, and they rotate in. Obviously, EG, part of the problem there is, you could argue it's an overextension, but T1 play with the chances that they have even behind. And what did they gain from that? So, I guess what we maybe should be talking about is why is Cuckoo buying BKB over Axe, right? They cost about the same. The BKB is more reliable because you don't have to hit the Spirit on so many heroes, and you get to pop it whenever you want. That is probably the primary reason. Oh, I bet.
The die best do
Hiding
something
in the
about that
soft
bottom
spot of
tower.
Roche. I don't think it's called that, but now it's called the soft spot, which is where you don't get spotted when people walk in.
Okay. I guess we can go with that. Sure, sure.
Yep.
Oh, Savage.
3 seconds
Waiting
on
Rift
coil.
to fall.
Is he gonna get the right
Coil
one?
soon. Yes. Loser of the fall. Might break it. No, they're actually just going to go for the Burrow Strike into the Epicenter. He's actually already out. Epicenter's going to be applied mostly to the Enchantress with the Burrow Strike and the Walrus Punch. But Zephyr is still living. Good lord. Arteezy has an Aghanim Scepter. What in God's name? He is right-clicking the crap out of 23 Savage. And Zephyr still living. He has learned how to not die this game, it looks like. But now he's getting slowly chipped away.
Wounded to my heart.
Now he's just going to die to the tower. So that time he did create quite a bit of space, but...
Nothing like some grilled deer.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure. I mean, talk to me about this Arteezy Aghanim Scepter. That's a really early one. This is like the old, like when they first added this variation, NA, in terms of like EG and all the other NA teams, they were buying this like first, sometimes second item.
I think it's just really good. EG's read on the game is double down on the team fights right now, right? The synergy between this and Coil is super strong against the PL, and yeah, he's just taking advantage of that. The fact that EG is strong right now. Crazy. Like you said, the Coil appeal actually lasted pretty short because he has S and Y as well as the so a lot of things coming his way, but it's still not enough.
Who's getting the shard? I just want, oh my god, I was gonna say, okay, this I think is the literal worst shard in the game. Am I wrong? Did they change this for Sand King? You get the Epicenter thing that goes off occasionally. I think it's in fog you can still see them, if I'm not mistaken. I saw this recently. This is so every X amount of units you move, you get an Epicenter proc. Am I wrong that this is really bad?
Radiant's top towers taking hits.
There's movement happening in the fights all the time. You're chasing after PL, you get procs.
I mean, I would love to be wrong. I've just seen that.
What
like,
are the alternatives, right?
I guess I don't see it through.
Radiant's top towers in bad shape.
Puck gets the Waning Rift upgrade, which isn't that great. This
got
game
one
not
less
necessary.
top
The
tower.
Tusk one.
That one's amazing. Kicking out of Coil that is blocked here.
Isn't the Tusk one Sigil?
Oh, you're right. That's the Aghanim Scepter I'm thinking of.
Carl is flying, but
half HP. He is super dead. Percentage base damage to Carl. And there's another dragon.
No, that was not the word I was
Okay, you're right.
looking
The Tusk one isn't very good either. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at the big picture, I just don't know. I mean, Sigil could have been decent this game. It's pretty good, I would say.
It's just a boring one because it's an old skill, right? But okay, I'm willing to be wrong on this ice shard. It looks like we were looking through fog. It does not go through, so I guess they fixed that. That was, I mean, that's literally game losing in some
Radiant's
situations.
mid tower's coming apart.
So that's good to see.
EG are building
Radiant's
a really big
mid-tower
one.
ain't doing so
who's
good.
top net worth. He is so
Huge. Yeah.
It's crazy. He's out farming it terribly to Sand King in this game.
And he still is not going for Blink anytime soon. I'm a little surprised he's not going for an Ag still.
The boss, he's going in.
There you see the extra Epicenter proc thanks to the amazing shard picked up from Ice. So Arteezy, he's going to pop that, and then Abed has a quad-man coil into the fear. Will it break? Yes! That is one death right off the bat. The silence on the 23 Savage. Looks like Cuckoo did glimmer himself, but he's not going to last much longer, and this could be the beginning of the end for T1 at the Animator. Ice gets off the Burrow Strike from afar.
Radiant's gone and
It's going to be a buyback,
fortified their
though.
structures.
So we'll see if they're able to get more than this. It is 5 versus 4, no Cuckoo for a long time. Arteezy's meta will not last forever, though.
There goes Radiant's
He's already
bottom
expended
tower.
the fear, which gives you that extra meta time as well. But I do believe that they're going to get this Rax in all likelihood. Although 23 Savage with these illusions, this shard can be really annoying to deal with. Ice is build. We're going to see this in pubs for generations to come.
Radiant's bottom Rax.
And I don't know if I'm happy with it.
For all the wrong reasons.
Short at
Radiant's
20
bottom
minutes, I
rags
think, is what's going to
ain't no
happen.
longer
Not from
with
Roche.
us.
You're going to purchase it yourself. And he's almost done with Shiva's. He is redonkulously tanky right now. Didn't even mention Essence Shroud. Nobody buys this item anymore. Very cool to see.
You mean Eternal Shroud?
What did I say? I said Essence Shroud. Yeah, sorry, Eternal.
I was testing to see if you remembered what you said 5 seconds ago, and you did. So that's a good sign for your cognitive ability.
I'm not that old yet.
No.
We're getting there.
That's
though.
good.
We're getting there.
That's fine. Got some years left in us.
Essence Shroud. What is Essence Shroud? Is that anything?
There's an Essence
Oh
ring.
my god, a triple
buddy.
bounty rune.
Wonderful.
Goodness
That's
gracious.
270 gold for every hero.
Yeah, that's nice.
EG 21,000 net worth lead. They've just done such a good job at forcing team fights this game. That's really been the name of the game for them the whole way. They know they're stronger in team fights. They know they have the catch with the Sand King, Puck, and the Tusk, and they just keep taking it to T1, not letting them hit the timing that they're looking for. PL hasn't really got online in this game, and all of the BKB charges of Dragon Knight have just been forced out really early, so he's not very strong either. The biggest problem for T1 the whole game has been lack of damage, really. Like, they just...
Stop jungling, let's push.
Still doesn't have BKB. We're 35 minutes in.
Yeah.
He never got there.
Come get
The game is
healed.
almost over, and his item build isn't ready yet.
Oh boy.
It's actually... It's kind of crazy to think that he buys Midas' first item, and his next major item, not counting the Glimmer, is delayed more than 20 minutes beyond his Midas.
That's true.
It's a 4K gold item.
Remember, 45 seconds still on the Aegis here, so they don't want to expend too much on RTZ. Looks like they'll get the tower at the very least. Abed jumps in. Look at that phase shift damage with that Desolator applied. Carl has to force out his BKB in that Dragon form now.
Radiant lost the top tower.
Clicking his Ice, jumps in. Elder Titan ult does actually connect on RTZ, who expended the BKB. Now kind of wants to play a little bit careful because this Aegis is going to go down soon. Just wants to get the full heal without taking damage. With that Desolator, you have to think that this is going to be at the very least a melee Rax again in favor of EG.
Radiant's top
Since
rags
how far up he is, he's basically going to see the coil onto 2. This could be the end of the game here. Into the fear again.
That's 4 in a row.
Beautifully done from
How about
EG.
that?
They're going to get that kill right off the bat on Carl.
5 in a
And there's
row.
not a
2
whole
downs
lot
and
that
6 in a
T1 can do.
row.
23
3
Savage
downs,
takes the
top
tumble.
rags.
Triple kill for RTZ. GG's are called. EG again, making it to the grand
Radiant's mid
finals
tower
of a
keeps
major,
hanging.
Cinderin.
What a deserved win this was in the third game. I think they just outplayed them at every turn. And really, I think you'd be hard-pressed to not call Ice the MVP of that game. Like,
Yes,
honestly,
I think so,
outstanding
yeah.
individual performance from him. I still... You know, Dota is a game that sometimes is very snowbally in nature. The kill he got on Cuckoo Top did so much for that game. That was actually crazy how much he got out of it. And I love his itemization. We were talking about, okay, what do you do with Sand King from behind? Well, guess what?